Afternoon, folks. Today I'm going to talk very briefly. First of all, sorry there's not been anything posted for a while. Been a bit busy, extra busy at work, and also busy personally. I'm going to talk about scorers, and we had a request for someone to do about it, to talk about this. My friend Mark asked me to talk about it, and that wasn't me. I'm not sending requests in myself. Um, it's an interesting thing, these scorers, because they're very difficult to obtain. And historically, it was always a young boy that you got scoring. He was perhaps interested in the game and played for one of the junior sides and wasn't able to break into the senior sides, and he just did the scoring as a bit of a hobby. And it's quite straightforward when you used to do the scoring, fill in a book in. All you needed was a pen, and when you got into it, it was the thing that you got different coloured pens and made your book all colourful. And nowadays, a lot of scoring is done on your phone or on your iPad. Play Cricket Score is a really good app. My club uses it. A lot of clubs use it. And with the advent of the internet and scorecards going on to play cricket, it's important that you can cut out the time taken to load the results by maybe using the Play Cricket Score app to because it's all integrated, and once you press end of game or whatever it is, and everything's uploaded automatically when you got a Wi-Fi signal. So that's how it is now. So I used to do it years ago, probably 40 years ago now. You get a bit of pocket money for it, and you get to sit at the cricket. Nowadays the pay rates have gone up a little bit, which is fair enough. I suppose 20 quid for a day out for a young lad doing the scoring or a young girl doing it. Occasionally it's the players' wives. But what you find is in a close game, if you've not got a scorer, you're at a disadvantage. I mean, I'm not going to accuse anyone of cheating or anything, but it's always better to have two pair of eyes on things, because if things don't add up, or there's an odd run here and there, or did the umpire signal four, one of the scorer didn't see it, there's only one of them, he's not put a four in, and all of a sudden somebody wins the game by 3 runs. So it's important having a scorer. It's important that clubs advertise when they need scorers and put the benefits out there, because it is a specialist job. You do have to concentrate, and if you're only a young lad like I was, like 12 or 13 or something, it's a long day sitting there writing in a book. Everyone's shouting at you. You've got to get it right. You get the odd drink and you get a bit of tea, because your parents will go mad if you don't get tea. And it's a very, very time-consuming thing to do, and an awful lot of concentration. So scorers should be applauded. More and more adults are doing it now, because, and the younger adults, because of the technology, it's straightforward to do on the Play Cricket Score app, and it's just something that's attractive to people. But if you need one for each team, then obviously they're few and far between. And many leagues now will insist that if you don't have a scorer, one of your players at least does the scorebook when your team is batting. You've got to have someone in attendance to do it all the time, otherwise you get penalised. I think that's a bit draconian, but I get where they're coming from. I mean, there was one league over in Yorkshire several years ago where if you didn't have a designated scorer, even when you were fielding, one of your players had to do it, and you'd play with 10. And there was a story of a guy, I can't remember which club it was, but there was a story of a club in Yorkshire, one of the leagues, where nobody would pick the scorer up. He had to come on the bus, and his bus was late. So for the first half an hour, they had to play with 10, and one of their players had to score, and as part of the penalty, the opposition pick which player it was. So you can't pick the pro, but they picked a marquee player, a really, really good all-rounder. I can't remember who it was, but he picked a really, really good all-rounder from the opposition to score. So he had to score for half an hour or more till the scorer turned up when his bus arrived. And then, of course, he came onto the field, and it was a bowler, but the umpires wouldn't let him bowl because he's been off the field for half an hour doing the scoring. So basically, he couldn't enter the bowling attack until an hour had been played. and in a 50 over game, there's 17 overs gone, and all of a sudden he's got to come on and bowl when he's cold, and that's just the way they penalise things over there. I'm sure that's changed now. That was very harsh penalty. But another one of these things that are frequent around the leagues with slightly different rules. So that's the scorer. Very important that you include him as part of the team. Give him a little job. Get him to carry the drinks. Maybe have him do the scoreboard. A guy I know, Jamie, who does the scoring at Delph and Dobcross, he's been doing it for a long time. He's a font of all knowledge. He's the media and communications and IT officer for the Huddersfield League. I think they're his titles. It's something like that. But he does everything that involves a computer for the Huddersfield League and all the press releases. And he's a scorer at Delph. And he does, I don't know whether he does a score book now, he used to, but he does the scoring on the iPad or on his phone. He also does the tins, the scoreboard. And at the same time, he updates Twitter and he also updates Facebook. And at the end of the game he writes a report. So quite how he manages all those things, I'm not sure, but it's through to experience. Good guy, Jamie. If you look for him, he's on Twitter. I can't remember what his handle is. I think it's at Wheatbeat on Twitter. He's a very interesting guy, and he's part of the Huddersfield League management committee and devotes an awful lot of time to Delph. And he's just an amazing guy. So that's the scorers. Encourage them, bring them into the community of the club. They're probably junior players. Invite the parents down, make them all feel welcome, and you'll get your 20 quid of value out of them. But also make sure they've got a drink and a butty and a bit of cake. Thanks very much, guys.